I have young friends who go on cruises and they love the cruise.
Do you batch your friends as your old friends and your young friends?
Yeah.
What am
And
I?
how old are you?
Yeah. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Was the food at your wedding good?
It's Italy. I mean, what are we talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
What are we talking about? You know what I mean? It was great. I loved it. I wish you and Lisa had been there. It would have been better.
Yeah, the couple.
Yeah.
The power couple.
I think I would call you two a power couple. Yeah.
I would say so. Lisa started lifting again and I lift. That's like very much
I
part of
have
my
so many
personality.
questions about that,
Oh,
by the way. But go ahead. Because I
happy to
lift as
answer all
well. And then I watch your form and I'm like, fuck, I need to do better.
Oh my God, no, that's so kind of you. But Lisa started lifting and I was like, well, now we're just the strongest comedians that ever could be.
Let me be clear. I lift nowhere near that list. If there was a list of strongest comedians and then there's like 17 pages back, then I would be an honorable mention with a little star.
Yeah. He's trying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the he's trying award.
But it is the trying that's half of it.
I like it. I enjoy it.
The weightlifting is just showing up.
Yeah. I did it this morning and it really hurt.
Bless.
Yeah.
Well, because you just got done being sick.
It's tough.
As did I.
It's tough out there.
It is.
For a weakling.
So I was on the ginger tea bit because I was not feeling well. And I felt nauseous and I said, ginger tea.
By the way, this is a good time as any to introduce the tea. Our listeners sleep with us at home, so let's talk about it.
Sure.
For those sleeping at home, we are drinking Rishi's ginger tea.
And it smells so good.
I haven't.
I've just been giving it a little whiff while we've been yapping.
I was going to say, so for those sleeping at home, this steeps at 212 for 5 minutes, so it is a little hot. I'm going to blow on it.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's what I needed.
That's so
lovely.
Nice.
Can I tell you my real big secret? Don't usually love ginger, but really like this.
Wow. Yeah. Why not?
It's like spicy to me. Does that make sense? Ginger has a weird...
It is. Ginger is a spice.
I like spicy things, which is odd.
Yeah.
But ginger as a spice strikes me as weird.
Is too much.
Not too much.
Too
just
far.
it's just a weird... I love...
Because it's kind of sweet as well.
Yeah, maybe.
It's confusing.
I love Indian spice.
Yeah.
I love Thai spice. Wasabi. Okay. But yeah, this just doesn't rock me.
But ginger is in many of those things.
I know. Ginger's in garam masala, which I love.
Interesting.
I
like ginger because it is spicy.
Yeah, ginger's in a lot of chai as well, which I also like.
It's so good. This is nice and light.
Yeah.
I was brewing myself one of those like health aid ginger teas at home,
Probably
which
really
is
thick. Thick and juicy.
Thick and juicy. Yeah.
That's how I describe myself.
When you're lifting, of course.
Exclusively. Yes. I'm trying to like lift that tush. Like that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I do trap bar deadlifts and I'm just like in there.
You're brave.
No,
I'm not doing those.
You do normal deadlifts.
Yeah.
So I don't do those.
Because you're back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. You know me.
I know.
I don't think it was you knowing the gym. I think it was you just knowing me. You read me personally. This guy's back.
Right. I'm like, no.
I do want to briefly touch on, and this is not promoting or anything like that, but I do want to briefly just say, so for those who are listening at home, we met for the first time, gosh, 15 maybe, I would guess.
Sure.
We met at Unurban Cafe. That I know. It was the first place I saw you, and I met you, and I was like, oh, and what was interesting is all I remembered was, oh, she seems really nice. And not that I know you well enough to say like, I'm proud of you, but I kind of am like, I feel pride for you at the fact that like we were at Unurban Cafe, which I can't stress enough is not an elegant place to do comedy.
Yeah.
And you just fucking did a special. Like that's
Isn't
sick.
that crazy?
That is crazy. Forget crazy. That's awesome.
But it's so fun to watch everyone, I would say, in our like comedy class kind of reaching this point of like, we're all stepping up to the next level or like graduating or whatever you want to call it. And it's so fun to look around at our colleagues and go, okay, we're all kind of doing something now, aren't we?
It is crazy that I am going to, and this might date our podcast a little bit, I am going to support Kazim and Drew Landry on Friday, recording their half hours.
Fun.
And then I'm going to support Josh Edelman recording his hour.
I mean,
and I'm
huge.
just like, I feel almost like a neighborhood grandma who just loves all the kids And I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my God, he's doing it. He's riding his bike. Honey, come out here, you know? And so I'm super stoked for you. How did that whole process feel for you?
I mean, good, I guess. I think the last couple of years, I actually felt like I was struggling with like, what am I doing? Which is
in life or in comedy?
In comedy.
Interesting.
Well, in both.
Yeah.
One lends itself to the other.
I still don't have answers to either. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think it was just like, what am I doing? And, you know, I've been doing comedy for over a decade.
Yeah.
And there was a long time where I was like, I'll probably never record an album. Who wants that? And then I think at a certain point, I was like, well, what am I doing in comedy? Like going on the road with all of our friends and supporting them is huge and so lovely and so exciting, and to get to watch them do that is like really cool. And then I think at a certain point it's like, well, I value myself doing this art, and like honestly, and so much of my material in the special is about my grandma and taking care of my grandma. She lived to be 101. I watched her reach a very old age, and just like watching her live all that life and listening to her tell me mostly the same story many times, but a lot of different stories, I was like, I just have to be happy at 80 to look back and go, I did what I wanted to do.
Hell yeah.
You know?
Fun little side note. My favorite joke to open with these days is about my grandmother dying at 101. So because my grandmother's mental acuity was going a little in and out in the final days, you know, Jess and I were talking to her a lot. My favorite moment ever was when Jess turns to my grandmother and goes, so Estelle, like, what was your first job you ever had? She
Great
looks
question.
and she goes, who remembers that? I'm 100. And I was just like, this woman's insane.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so funny.
It's just like, what a great answer.
Yeah.
You don't owe anyone shit at 100. You know what I mean?
Truly great, honest answer.
Phenomenal.
That's hilarious, because it is the things where it's like, well, what are the things we want to ask these 100-year-old people, where it's like, what's going to be
society this is topic for another conversation, but like as a society, I do truly believe that we do not value our elderly, at least in the US, in the same way that other countries do. But
I mean, so much of taking care of my grandma made me so fearful for when we get older, because I'm like, there are so many design flaws with the equipment that we have for people who are elderly.
For sure.
They can't navigate that stuff on their own. Navigating the phone on their own, very hard. Like an iPad?
I have trouble figuring out every time a new phone comes out. I'm like, I got to take a week to learn this.
Sure. I mean, I felt so grateful that I could be there for her, because I was like, oh, thank God I'm here to do this. But think about how many people don't have that.
For sure. And
so I all that to say, I hear you in that stress.
The only reason I want to have kids is so I have insurance for when I'm older, that someone will take care of me.
I'm going to be the best aunt.
Oh, great.
For the same reason.
I legitimately just want people to take care of me. Someone's like, oh, like you're going to like love watching the kids take their first steps. I'm like, I'm going to love watching these kids fight for my rights with the doctors. That's what I'm going to love watching.
Yeah, and like watch them stick their name onto all my most prized possessions in the house before I go.
And then also watch them put me in a home.
Is there anything that you had wished you asked your grandma before she died, or like while she was a bit more present?
I would have loved to ask her lessons that she learned in her marriage about like, you know, when love is pushed to its limits, what are things that like you held on to help you get through those moments?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, well, I didn't ask. So.
How long was she married?
I mean, like until my grandfather died. I mean, I think it was a very long period of time. I wish I could tell you.
Well, obviously, you saw them married for a long. You know, like, and you saw the love they had for each other.
He died when I was 9.
Okay, obviously, you didn't see them love each other for very long.
I was going to say, you know, and he and I were not the best of friends, but but you know, they vibed, which is more important.
The vibes when they're in their 80s and 90s. So important.
I will say the other fun thing is my grandmother was dating a man for 17 years before he passed, and then she passed. And it's just fun to be like, oh, my grandma's boyfriend.
Yeah.
I want to like write a movie called My Grandma's Boyfriend.
I love that. Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, representation of olds in media.
Of olds.
We need that. When my grandpa died, my mom to my grandma was like, so do you want to date now or what? And she was like, Carrie, I'm 89. No, like this is done for me. But she could have.
So my father passed at 64, And not from the day, but like shortly thereafter, my sister and I have been like telling my mom, we're like, get out there.
Really?
Like I was like, you're so young, girl.
Yeah.
Like
there are still years to ha.
Oh, hell yeah. There's many a man. She told me one day, she called me and she goes, what a day. And I'm like, what happened? She goes, this man kept hitting on me in Home Depot. I'm like, I'm just here to buy wood. And I was like, hey, was he cute? She goes, I don't know. I go, what do you mean you don't know? You didn't really look. She goes, I was busy. And I'm like, Mom, hey, be open.
Be open.
Be open. Maybe this man was great. You know,
sure.
maybe he wanted to have you leave with other wood. But if, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Saucy.
I know. Listen, I'm a saucy guy.
If your mom called you with a sex story, would you listen?
Sure. What do I care? She's 74. Like, I hope she's out there.
You know what? God bless. Let's get her on the phone right now.
And let me be clear. I mean, details excluded. Like, I don't want,
okay. I'm talking about the details.
I don't want her to be like, so he takes his pants off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I can handle that. But if she was like, hey, so a guy came over last night. He stayed the night.
Yeah.
And,
that you could deal with that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Could you not?
Yeah, sure. Top line, I'd be like, cool. Sounds fun.
Well, now, so I only know this. We do research on all of our guests. That's the wonderful Jude. This is produced for a reason. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were a child of divorced parents.
Oh, 100%.
Right. So did you have to witness them dating?
Oh, yeah.
And you did not like it?
No, it was weird.
Okay.
It was weird and gross and bad. It's the thing where I was 13, so
that's not fair.
You get the fantasy of like parents together forever. It's like shattered, and that's sad. And then you're like, who's this guy, Ma? And then, and then you watch your parents date people where you go, I think they're kind of a loser. And then you kind of have to reconcile with like, my parents want to be with these people. And like, that is also like, oh God, there's a lot of like demystifying of like parents being a parental, like all knowing role in your life who you can go to for advice and whatever. And you still can, but you have to go to them knowing that you've seen them
make bad choices. And like, you're not all knowing if you're dating Larry.
In your little 13-year-old opinion.
Yeah. You're like, Mom, Larry doesn't have goals.
A little bit. I mean, there was one guy my mom dated who he was just very much like, kind of like a free spirit guy. And I just remember that attitude rubbing me the wrong way. And I was like, him? And then my dad got married for a third time and we all went, her?
Was your mom his second marriage?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct. Yeah.
We all thought it was going to last.
We all thought it was going to last.
I am the opposite of you. I am the child of should have been divorced parents.
This is always interesting to me. Because then what's going on?
I think, here's what I think. Once you've been through the shit, right? Like if you've been married for, I don't know, 30 years, it's the same thing as being shoulder to shoulder in the trenches during a guerrilla war.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're in this situation. At that point, you could be miserable, but you're like, I know how they smell. I know when they wake up in the morning. I know what they're like. I'm fine.
I would hope I would go, actually, no, thank you. It is guerrilla warfare and a psyop. It's like it is physical, it is mental, it is emotional.
Yes. Yeah.
Like in the trenches of your mind, body, and soul in a terrifying way. And I would hope that, maybe it's just that I've like spent enough time being a single person, like not being in relationships that I go, I can do that.
Can I tell you, controversial take, maybe not controversial to you because you seem to agree with me. I had no issue being single. Being single did not bother me. Being single did not feel like a burden.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm very happy to, the word married is so weird because it literally we're like
Say
a week
it, loser.
away. I know.
You're freaking married.
I'm married now. And I'm very happy and I love her very much. But like, I did not hate my single days.
Yeah.
And I also was not like, no, I doubt you would look at me and think this anyway. But like, I was not like promiscuous, like I was not like out there.
You weren't pounding pussy.
Yeah, I totally was. I didn't want to say that, but that's what I was doing.
Mom, if you're listening,
Mom, you couldn't even count them. Okay, all day.
The pussies,
17 pussies a day. No, but I was just like, I like, for example, if I went and like did a show, did a mic, and then came home, I was like, that was a great night.
Sure. No, I mean, I think something that I was talking about with my therapist is like, I love dating. I'm like a very good date. A lot of people tell me I'm very easy to talk to.
I would agree.
I'm very nice. I actually messaged another comic not long ago, Billy Bunnell. lovely, very funny.
Great.
And I was like, hey, it's Rachel. I don't know if, like, I think I was asking him about, like, where he was going on the road or something. He goes, Rachel, of course I remember you. I always remember someone nice. I was like, okay. Anyway, I like dating. I don't mind being single. I think a lot of us are sold the idea of marriage as a guarantee. And I think what people need to start grappling with, myself included, which is what I was talking to my therapist about, was like, what if we are not all guaranteed forever partnership? Which statistically speaking, mama, we're not. So
I do love when you call me mama, but go ahead.
And honestly, it's because I watch so much like drag content that it's just like it's wedged in my noggin.
Remind me to go back and touch on the drag theme a second.
Okay.
But continue.
There are sometimes I go, I really wish someone was here to rub my back.
There's
that's
like a thing we all
deep,
wish for.
Emotional, intimate parts. And I'm like, no, I miss that. But otherwise, it's like, we kind of just got to take the short-term relationships, the little meaningful connections we can make as we get them. Because they're still very meaningful, very beautiful, very lovely.
100%.
But I can't do monogamous relationship to a monogamous relationship. I don't know how people do that.
Being generally in a monogamous relationship or jumping from one to the other?
Jumping from one to another.
Serial monogamy.
Serial monogamists. And we know. And let's name them.
No. Yeah. Okay. So first on my list, you go next.
Yeah.
No, here's, as someone who just got married, I don't think this is going to shatter anyone's beliefs. I don't think anyone we get a lot of weird messages from listeners, but I don't think any of the ones that we're going to get are just like, I believed in your love,
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. There are no guarantees in anything. To me, choosing to get married is me saying, I am at the casino, and if I'm going to bet all my chips on something, this person is the person I want to bet my chips on.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean that the bet is guaranteed. That does not mean that automatically, I win. That is not what that means. What it means is just if I had to make the bet on someone,
right,
or I want to make the bet on someone, to put it a better way, I want to bet on this person and me, and really I will go to hell and back to try and make sure that we both win that bet, but there's no guarantee that we do.
That's a beautiful way to put it. That's a realistic approach. But I mean, I love that. I mean, and also, Dad's been married 4 times. Mom just got married for the 3rd time last year.
Mazel.
Thank you. It feels almost unrealistic for me to go one person forever.
It's a crapshoot.
It's luck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So
it's also, I mean, a lot of this. In the same way that no matter how much you make your own luck, quote unquote, the comedy has a luck element to it. The greatest comic ever to tell a joke we don't know who that is because that person was never discovered, right? There are some comics who I have seen that I think are riotously funny, who never rose above me, which is a sad thing to say, because I am right at the bottom. But I do think, in the same way that comedy is luck and becoming successful and becoming the next, Jerry Seinfeld or Ellen DeGeneres, all these these icons of comedy, becoming that has luck. Marriage is the same thing.
Totally.
There's no guarantees on any of this stuff.
No.
But I'm not worried. I'll figure it out.
I love that. Also, life is too long.
I'll say this though. Here's a hot take. I do think being single makes it easier to do comedy.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God. Yes. I've recently started dating someone, which I like. That's fun. But
we do like.
Yeah. But then I go,
I'm on the fence.
Oh my God, I got to make time.
Okay.
Got to make time for this. And it does make you go, well, I can stay out late. If I'm single, I can stay out late at this thing.
True.
There's no one I'm coming home to or whatever.
You could do a 1 p.m. comedy store hang if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah. I'm like, I still have a day job. Thank you so much. You know what keeps me in at night, in fact, is getting up and going to the gym.
You're a morning workout.
I'm a morning workout because I have the day job. I got to go in the morning so I can do the day job and then do the comedy at night.
Does the day job fuel the comedy financially?
Yes.
So the reason I asked that is because mine does too. Well, mine did. I just started my own company and I haven't gotten a paycheck in a while. So that part's not great.
Yeah.
But it did. And what I always find interesting is I think and I've said this on the podcast before, everybody has dreams, but every dream needs a sponsor. And I feel like a lot of us out here
yes,
need to be our own sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes people are like, oh, why haven't you made it yet? I'm like, why haven't I made it yet? Well, let me tell you something, because I'm working all day long.
Right.
And then I'm going out and doing comedy all night.
Yeah.
And then I have to go back and do it again. And like all of this is a cycle that is very hard to break out of.
This is why I'm like, and now I have to go be a content creator on top of the day job and doing the comedy itself and whatever. But I will say, I think with the special under my belt, it's like, not that I can take a break, but I can go, all right, I can allow myself to explore other creative endeavors.
For sure.
And I'm not saying you're going to see me popping up on your For You page all wackadoo in a sketch.
I've been waiting
not that person.
for it.
That's the thing, is I'm not that person.
A lot of people, when they watch a comedian go on the road, they're like, oh, you must have made bank. And I'm like, no.
A bank, breaking even.
Yeah, I was going to say breaking even is a gift.
Sure. Do you want to tell me about drag? Because I want to hear what you have to say about drag.
Okay.
Are you watching drag? Drag Race?
No, I've not watched Drag Race, but here's what I will say. The best drag performers are some of the best performers, period.
Yes.
And I wonder, and I'm sure this is like levels of misogyny and patriarchy and all this other shit, but I do wonder sometimes why there aren't more prominent drag performers in our overall landscape of like performers we talk about a lot. So like for example, right? Like we talk about Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter,
Olivia Rodrigo, Chappell
great.
Roan.
Great. Some of the drag performers I've seen are just so fucking good.
Yes.
And yet there are not many drag queens I can think of that are part of this more prominent general entertainer conversation. As a society, for some odd reason, we refuse to elevate them out of just drag to say general entertainers.
I think we're at a moment where drag is more proliferated now than it ever has been.
Sure.
There are so many spin-offs of Drag Race. I mean, I think Drag Race is the only drag show that showcases drag queens currently.
Okay.
But I think a lot of why drag is not more in the like zeitgeist is because it is queer. And I do think that as like someone like a Chappell Roan, right? Someone who is more like prominently gay, Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
More prominently lesbian. Like as we elevate more queer artists, we might see more drag queens being talked about, because I do think drag is like a high form of art. You have to be able to do so many things. You have to be good at so many things. But also, and I'm sorry that I'm not going to remember exactly who this is, but there is a drag queen who sold out the O2 Arena in England, which has like never happened before for a drag queen. And like, why don't we talk about it? Well, I don't know. Is it because are straight people paying attention to this? Is it in the zeitgeist as much? Like, that's a huge accomplishment.
I wish that news had gotten to me.
And I want to say it was Ben de la Creme or Bianca Del Rio.
One of them, I think it's one of those people, but I remember there was one drag queen that was on a podcast I listened to called Love It or Leave It. And she does impressions that are so fucking spot on. It was like mind blowing. And I was just like, why haven't I heard of this woman before?
Yeah.
And just what an incredible, I was just like blown away.
That's, Zach Noe Towers?
Yes.
He writes for Bob the Drag Queen, who was a winner of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Incredible.
Who's like going on a world tour right now. I mean, there's a whole industry of like drag queens on tour doing stand-up, and they had met because they did a cruise together, like both as performers. And
have you done a cruise, by the way?
No.
I don't think I could. No. Yeah. I've never been on a cruise ship.
No, me either.
It gives me the
claustrophobia.
One of the 1,000 things it gives me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like I understand they're the captain, but I'm like, who is?
You're like, what
running this thing? This is lawless.
How many people turn when we turn?
Yeah. The other thing I think about is like, and I understand this is stupid, but like, how many dead bodies are on a cruise ship at any given time?
Okay, something I heard recently, this is not about dead bodies, but
then I'm not interested.
I did learn that there's like a room that everyone gets put in if you're in like cruise ship jail.
Yeah.
Which is nuts, because then you're at sea with criminals.
But you're in jail.
But you still get to enjoy the experience.
But you're aware there is like a freezer with corpses also on the ship.
No, I'm not aware.
Well, think about it like this, okay? Let's say there are, I'm making this number up, 1,000 people on a cruise ship. Does that seem reasonable? I feel like it does.
Easily.
Yeah, I would say there's even more. But I was trying to go conservative. I was trying to lowball. Should I go highball? Should I go like 3,000?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Say it.
It's 5,000.
It's a fictitious cruise.
I'm living.
Yeah.
It's 5,000. Call me mama again. I'm in.
Mama, it's a huge ass cruise.
I'm doing it. All right. So we're at 5,000. Okay. Now, if we have 5,000 people, and let's be honest, cruises skew older. So let's say that we've got at least 2,000 people that are over 65.
Yeah.
You don't think on a 3-week cruise, 2-week cruise, 4-week cruise, there's bodies are piling up, and they need.
You're saying floating morgue.
Yes. Generally, it's floating, but in there is frozen. It's like a little ice cube on the ocean. You know,
that's wild.
Oh yeah, I can guarantee that they do that thing where it's like they like let everybody, when like if you have someone stay over, if you're like having a dalliance, a one night evening, and so it stays over and you're like, okay, and you're like really cute in the morning, you're like, all right, like I'll see you later, and like kiss, like, all right, well, you're gonna go to your car, okay, and like wave, and then you like all of a sudden you go back, you're like, God, my apartment's a shithole. It's like throw everything back on the ground. You're like, what? I imagine when the cruise is docking, they let everybody get up like, bye, it was so good. We loved having you on Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
You take care. They wait till everyone's out of eyeshot. They're like, all right, can we roll out the dead bodies? Bring out all the bodies. We need all 40
over
of them.
the intercom.
Yeah.
We need all bodies.
We need all right, can you bring all the dead bodies? Just all of them.
This is so terrifying.
But listen, I don't know. I've never been on one, but it feels like it has to be true.
And this is why I'll never go.
Because
I never want to find out.
No.
That seems like my worst vacation. And I have friends who love them. And I go,
the dead people or cruises?
The dead people.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I have young friends. They're not my 60-year-old friends. I have young friends who go on cruises and they love the cruise.
Do you batch your friends as your old friends and your young friends?
Yeah.
What am I?
And how old are you?
Yeah. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm never going to go on a cruise. I don't think. Unless, I mean, that's why I don't work them. Everyone's always asking, like, Josh, come to our cruise. And I'm like, Royal? That's what I call Royal Caribbean. I go, Royal.
Right. You're on first name basis.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
No more Mr. Caribbean.
Yeah, well, honestly, if it's really late at night and we're all both tired, I just go, Roy.
Yeah. I have thought about if I got approached to do it, would I do it? Because it's like, is that a thing that I want on my resume, right? As a comedian?
Sure.
Is it money that I want?
I've heard the next step is a sitcom once you've done Royal Caribbean.
Well, that's usually how it goes. Yeah. I mean, TBD. I hear the food is great.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't tell if you're making a joke.
No, I think people really like it.
I think it's all buffets.
People like buffets.
Do they?
Sure.
I mean, I like a buffet.
I'm not going to poo-poo a buffet.
No, I don't poo-poo a buffet.
But it is the claustrophobia that I can't
It
deal
depends
with.
just to go back to the buffet point.
Yeah.
It depends what time the buffet began and what time you arrived.
Oh, yeah, what time you're getting there.
Right? So we were just traveling, and there was, at a lot of hotels in Europe, it's just like a free breakfast.
Sure.
Because to them, it's like, who gives a shit? And to me, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
And if you show up on the earlier side, it's like, oh, these eggs are so fluffy.
Sure.
Oh, look at all these croissants. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. You show up on the late side, it's like, oh, were there eggs once in here? Because I just see rubber.
Right. You just see the flakes of the croissant.
Yeah. And then you see like what I would call the bootleg pastries.
The B team.
Yeah. Like you've got like the raisins, on top of just like what looks like a scone. And I'm like, who hurt this pastry?
Oh, that's not nice.
I don't do raisins.
They're doing that in Europe?
Yeah. Listen, I have a lot of beef with some of the pastries that I put in my mouth in there.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
What
was your favorite pastry?
I'm going to be honest, okay? I think that classic pastries are always pretty hard to beat. A really good classic pastry. For example, good croissant. If you really, like a really good croissant, not like a bullshit croissant, a really good croissant, hard to beat. A pain au chocolat, hard to beat.
Yeah.
However, there was this place we went where, I don't even know if you call this a pastry. Maybe it's not. This place had these like cute little like cakes. They called it carrot cake. It was 100% not.
Okay.
It was an orange. It was like orange cake. It was like, you have the lemon loaf.
Yeah.
Orange tasting. It was tasted orange. There's no carrot in here. That, and then next to it was a little Nutella pie slice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta tell you something. I don't even like Nutella that much. I was born again.
The orange cake? Wait, carrot cake?
Carrot, I think, just for color purposes.
But this is so funny, the interpretation of Europeans going, the Americans love the carrot cake, and they see like, well, there's orange in the cake, so let's just put orange in the cake, and we've done it.
I'll say this. It was not in France, but I just imagine people in the back being like, they like carrot cake, so put it on the label.
Yeah.
Carrot. You know? Like that's
right, right. But surprise, it's l'orange.
L'orange. Yeah. Yes. By the way, we have to get to our first segment.
Okay.
Are you ready for the Newly Friend game?
Yes.
I've been waiting for you to say that my whole life. The first segment is called the Newly Friend game. It's like the Newlywed game, but with friends. I would tell you to grab your whiteboard. You already have because you're an amazing,
I'm a great
amazing guest. Okay. So for you, as I mentioned, we do research. And one of the things that we learned about you in our research is your social security number. So I'm going to have you write. No, I'm
Yay.
kidding.
I get to guess yours.
Yeah. We guess each other's. And then we don't get it right. We say it out loud slowly for each of us. What came up is that you are a big fan of reality television.
Oh, yeah.
And so here's my question for you. And again, I'm going to ask you this question. Do not say your answer out loud. Write it down. If you have the power to introduce a new Real Housewives of blank, you could pick any place you wanted. What place would you choose? 1, 2, 3, flip. You said Long Beach. I said Paris or Denver.
Oh, wow, I love that.
Tell me, why Long Beach?
Wait, Paris would have been great. Well, Long Beach is, of course, where I grew up.
I did not know that.
And
you give me East Coast energy.
Thank you. People tell me that all the time, and I think it means that I dress well.
I'm a New Yorker, so it's a compliment.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I am from Long Beach, and so while I do feel this answer might be a cop-out, I think it's funny because we classically have Real Housewives of Orange County, and we kind of know what they're all about, right? Which is scamming people when your husband may or may not have cancer, and then we have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is TBD. Don't really know what they're doing up there. But Long Beach, I think, could be a fun new spin because you can get people doing all sorts of nefarious shit. You know, Long Beach has a lot of really nice areas to it.
I was going to say, I thought it was really nice down there.
But there's also some areas not so nice. And so you can get people with a lot of different backgrounds on, who are coming from a lot of different perspectives. I think it could bring the Cali vibes. Do you know what I mean? If there's one lady who's like super obsessed with Sublime on there. And so I just think it would be fun to have some ladies on there who are kind of vibing out, but still quite wealthy.
I love that. I'm into it. I guessed Paris and Denver because we were just talking about Paris. Maybe it was on my brain, but I thought it'd be really funny to have a bunch of like really hoity-toity French women.
It would
just
be
being
incredible.
Like, did you hear what happened to Luc?
Well, and I wonder if it would be more or less fun to know that everyone was cheating on each other kind of inherently.
Well, I think that just is Paris, is it not?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Would it be more fun for the viewer to go, well, it's less fun because the wife already knows that he's stooping someone else.
It's not. Well, I don't even think they use that word there, but they should.
But on our version,
oh come on,
yeah, they're stooping.
You just gave me an idea for mine. Okay, let's do this for me because now I have ideas.
Oh my god,
we're gonna do this for me now. 1, 2, 3, flip. You said Dayton, Nashville, and North Dakota. I said the Catskills, Boca Raton, and a retirement home.
Love all of those.
For some reason, I wrote the Catskills because I'm like, how funny would it be to have a bunch of Jews just be like, he did what?
Yeah.
You know?
Wait, and then they're, what?
Yeah. Who?
Yeah.
I said he's cheating on you. I'll bet he is. Boca Raton, because literally, like, have you been to Boca?
I have not been to Boca.
Boca also has a lot of old Jews. I think I just want to see a bunch of old Jews on the show.
It seems like it. That's the common thread.
Yeah, it's really
the retirement
old
home
people.
Is generic, and I like, again, olds on television.
I love it.
We need more of that.
I tend to find old people more interesting than young people because old people have stopped giving a shit about the things that don't matter.
Sure.
But I do think
they're not coming onto the show going, I need to make sure I look good.
Right.
No. You've already made so many other mistakes. You're here to let it rip.
Oh yeah. Boca I also like because it's like everything there is such an air of arrogance in a lot of things. So it's like you bring people on and someone's like, you did your shopping where? At a Publix?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Love that.
I go to the tiny place down the street called The Boys. You know what I mean? Like, It's like that kind of thing.
Great.
Walk me through Dayton.
Because you said this is really crazy.
Yeah,
and
Dayton would be crazy.
Dayton feels a little crazy.
Dayton would be nuts. Again, I actually quite like Dayton, but yeah, go ahead.
Never been.
Oh,
just kind of seems
nice.
like a place where, like, what would make you stand out to get on Real Housewives of Dayton?
Anything. Like,
so I'm kind of curious about like what could that be? What I find fascinating about reality TV, and the reality TV that I watch is very much. Someone once said I watch D-list Bravo, meaning I watch the nobodies. But I kind of like
a show?
It. No, it's just that I watch people who get cast for these TV shows, and then season over season they kind of get increasingly more famous because they're on Bravo. But they don't start out as like content creators or whatever. They're like real people, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of like that because, again, the stakes are so low, but they get to act like the stakes are so high on the show. I have to show up. I have to bring a gift to the party. And if I don't, they're totally going to think I like look bad. And, you know, there's a lot of like, what are the cultural niceties that you think you have to uphold within the cultural context of like, we're all 5 best friends and we're hanging out on this show or, you know, whatever.
Are any of them actually real friends? Like, is that a thing?
2.
Okay.
2 of them. Yeah. Legally. Must be.
No.
Yeah.
I've heard that. That there's a law.
Dayton just feels silly. Nashville felt like a really fun one.
I'll tell you right now, I've not seen a Real Housewife show before, but Nashville, I think that would be very watchable for me.
Totally.
North Dakota. Have you been to North Dakota?
I don't know that it exists. I like to travel.
I like so well travel.
I love to travel.
Me too.
But there's so many places in the States I still haven't been. There's like natural wonders I've never seen. I haven't seen the big ass trees we have up north.
Oh, the redwoods.
Couldn't think of it. I was going to say the red
trees.
Freaking sequoia.
Where would I see a sequoia? Have I seen a sequoia?
Further north.
Okay, I didn't know.
This one, but I don't know. Nature's beautiful.
I've heard that.
And for some reason, I refuse to see it. I just can't bring myself to go. Not bring myself. I want to.
What is your feeling on camping?
Not a camping girly.
I couldn't dislike camping more. Also, here's a take that.
But 2 Jews saying they don't like to camp.
I know.
2 Jews going, I don't really like to be outside.
Yeah, well,
it's not comfortable out there.
I had this discussion with someone the other day, and they're like, "Really, no kind of camping?" And I was like, "To me, camping is staying in a hotel that regulates their thermostat. Like that's kind of where I'm at."
I'm open to it again because I want to see nature. The pull for nature this year of all years has called me the most. So I'd be open to it. I would like to do like car camping where I'm not like trekking somewhere and pitching a tent. You know, it's like we pitch a tent by the car and then the campsite is right there.
I don't even want to do that.
And that's so fair.
And I'll double down for you.
Say it.
I don't like hiking.
Oh, well, I tolerate LA hiking, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to find me in an ankle high boot clomping around. Splish splashing in the puddles on the trails.
You'll find me splish splashing in my pool.
Yeah.
I don't have a pool, but like my
in the pool of your
pool.
mind.
Yes. My mental pool.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm at that pool.
Yeah. Can I say something? I love that you put a snack bar in here because I didn't have one.
You're welcome. I knew you were going to want that.
Better now.
Yeah.
There was at the neighborhood pool, at like the public pool in the town I grew up in, they had a machine and it was called slush puppies.
Yeah.
Do you know this?
Well, I'm like, it's a slushie.
It is a slushie, but it's not to be confused with an icy, which you can get from like 7-Eleven. Very different consistency.
Right.
But they had these slush puppies, and for listeners, you drop us a DM if you or a comment, whatever you suit your fan. We get more DMs and comments these days, but you could any way you want. Just tell me if you had it. I looked forward to these more than like. I cannot think of something I wanted more in life.
So is it kind of more crunchy ice now? I fear.
Yes.
Okay. It's crunchy ice. It's kind of soupy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, so, I know what it is.
It's incredible. So here's a little fun, tiny story, little side quest for us. I studied abroad in Australia, and it was phenomenal. And I stayed there for a little bit. And on campus, I got lost on the way to a class, which I hardly went to, but I went to this class this one time.
Look at you go.
Got lost on the way because I'd never been before, and saw this newsstand, and like newsstands for them are like little places you like pick up like snacks and whatever.
Sure.
Small thing, and I'm about to walk past it, and then like I see in like the back of the newsstand the little like yellow cup ornament with the dog with like a beanie on it, and I'm like slush puppies, and I go over and I go, sorry, do you have slush puppies? And they're like, Oh, sure. We've got blue raspberry and cherry.
They didn't call it like, oh yeah, slushery.
No.
They love a roux.
Everything's a roux to them. And an O.
Yeah.
So like, oh, I Rachel.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, no, it's not Rachel. No.
Could be.
Frito. You know,
yeah, if I moved there.
You could be. Do you want to be?
No.
Okay. Do you want to live here forever?
Yeah.
LA?
Do you?
I think. I don't know.
Again, grew up in Long Beach.
Catch me outside, you know what
I do know what you mean. I have lived in the same county my whole life. Sometimes I have a problem with it because I go, am I missing a greater experience in life of like moving somewhere new and you have to change where your gas bill goes? Like, I don't know if that's important. Do you know what I mean?
I imagine you have, like different provider.
Like the experience of like, oh my God, how do I figure out who the electricity company is? Like,
I just had to do that, not just 4 or 5 years ago, but I was in Santa Monica, which had SoCal Edison.
Yeah.
And now I'm on LADWP. I mean, I had to do that. And I got to tell you something. It was unsettling.
Yes. Welcome to slumming it with the rest of us.
It's not nice to be here.
Yeah.
I feel like this is as good a time as any to go to our lightning round. Are you good for it?
Let's do it.
So this is the lightning round. It's 5 fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers. They are just the last 5 questions we end every episode.
Okay.
I keep them on an index card because this is as close as I'm going to get to being a late night talk show host.
Love.
And one of my favorite things to do, sometimes I'll just throw it to someone who's not there. I'll be like, yeah, Hank in the back. I love what you're doing. Sorry. That's our producer. Anyway, question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours? So for example, I love brewing tea. We actually talked about that off mic, but that is a ritual I love.
I would say going to the gym.
Okay.
Not to be a total meathead, and I'm not sure if that's like too big of a lift, but it is.
I feel like you're flexing.
Yeah.
Okay, running out of them.
that is. It's really become my me time. It's something actually like the other week I was like, oh wow, I've been lifting since 2019, and I only recently was like, oh, I take myself very seriously in practicing this thing.
Yeah.
I don't compete. I don't want to compete. It's just my hobby. That's also my form of exercise, but I really love it. And I really covet my time alone at the gym. I mean, I have gym friends. Come on.
Okay.
You know, I got strong friends.
I love it.
But getting to the gym, doing my little warm up and like starting my lifts is, it's like such a satisfying part to my day.
I love that. How many days a week are you doing it?
Like 3 to 4.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't need 7.
That's the thing is people go, oh, that's crazy. If you're doing 7, 6 days, 5 days even, you're crazy. You're overdoing it. You're thinking you need to be doing this thing. It's not that hard. I lift because it's, to me, the laziest form of exercise.
I could not agree more. And yet, it does burn the fat the best.
Oh, but that's the thing is I go, it is the like shortest walk to the longest impact thing. We're going to be able to lift ourselves off the toilet when we're 87, no problem.
I'm having trouble these days, but I hope at that point I can do it. Someone's like, do you do cardio? And I'm like, I walk sometimes to the store.
Yes.
To get a sandwich. Question 2, what is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
Something in my friend group recently is instead of saying fingers crossed, one time one of us only texted the word fingers because crossed like didn't make it into the chat before one of us pressed send. And so instead of saying fingers crossed, we go fingers.
Oh, God. It's just, someone the other day said fingers and toes and they sent that.
Like, oh, crossed?
Yeah, apparently. And I wrote back question mark.
Yeah.
And they were like, like cross. And I was like, I don't think anyone would have gotten that.
Something someone did to me recently that I want to pick up, like start to do, is I said something and they responded, huh? H-U-H question mark.
I've done that.
Well, I'm someone who's too afraid to ask questions because I don't want to be perceived as dumb. So I'm always like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm the quickest to answer the thing.
I am very comfortable being stupid. It is a large part of being in a relationship.
Beautiful gift.
Yeah.
But they did that and I went, oh, I'm going to start doing that. Just go, huh?
Yeah.
Give yourself a little space between you and whatever that person. You're like, I've been doing this my whole life. And to me, I'm like,
I also sometimes love sending a gift that's just like, I miss that. Yeah. Didn't catch
that,
it.
Yeah.
There are some really fun gifts where it's like someone just watching a car drive by really fast and I'll send that. Like,
that's
I
great.
just like send things like that. And people are like, I don't understand. I'm like, that's my point. I
don't
understand.
Wait, that's so funny because I do feel as comics, it's like half the job is like, I'm always sharp. I'm always with the quip and I'm always with the thing.
I mean, I am, but that's just naturally who I am.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm just like.
But with your friends, you're like, I'll be a little dumb.
Yes. But what's funny is, though, as you get older, I feel like your friend.
And you're how old again?
Listen, I'll tell you right now, I'm 37. Your text threads become much more informational than they do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, someone hit the text thread. There are like, I think 9 of us on the thread. And my buddy hit it and goes, "Does anyone have any good streaming recommendations? I feel like I don't have another show after the one I'm watching." And it's kind of like running out of options.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally wrote back. I was like, "Hey, yeah, I got you."
Yeah.
You know?
Did you say RuPaul's Drag Race?
I've not seen that, but I did. I did not say that.
I can't wait for you to watch it.
I'll watch it.
You're gonna lose your mind.
I think I already have.
Yeah, no, it's
nothing to do with watching things. I just think I'm losing my mind slowly.
No, well, of course.
Well,
but this is gonna maybe piece it back together.
Oh, okay.
But to say.
Question 3.
Yeah.
What is a very controversial opinion that you have?
My controversial opinion is that sometimes I think Azealia Banks gets it right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is. Here's what's interesting about that opinion. Not a lot of people are going to know it, but I know it. Yeah. I understand it. And look, I'm okay. Just for the listeners, I'm just going to give you a bit of background. Azealia Banks came to fame with a song called 212. She's a rapper.
Yeah.
To this day, I think it's an incredible song.
Yes, she just performed in the UK.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Oh. Keeping up to date with her.
Oh, yeah, apparently. She came to prominence with that. She, over time, came more to prominence for her, I would say, controversial statements.
Yes.
Often inflammatory, more so than her rap ability.
Right.
And had beefs with everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
At this point, it's like pick a person in the Rolodex. She's probably had beef with them.
Uh-huh. Now, where has she gotten it right?
Oh, you know what she got it right about? Nicki Minaj. One time, she said, Nicki Minaj is running out of money. That's why she's doing all these shows or whatever. Or like she was doing shows, something or other. And then it did come out that like Nicki Minaj had defrauded, not someone, but like she had some money issues were afoot within her estate.
I see. So she might have had the inside scoop.
Maybe.
Where was she on the Diddy reveal?
I don't know, actually, and I haven't checked her Instagram lately, and I should have. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know if she's getting it right or if she's just pulling enough words out of a fishbowl one day where she's like, today I'm going to beef with Josh about his infidelity.
Don't give her,
whoa, sorry.
Hey there.
Just felt really.
I've never cheated in my life.
I don't think you've cheated, but
more
you're here in the room.
I think, kind of what you're referring to is like if you put 3 monkeys in front of typewriters, after long enough, they'll write Shakespeare.
Yes, and that is what AI is doing.
Every ChatGPT is just monkeys in front of a typewriter.
A little bit.
Someone asked me the other day, they were like, "Oh yeah, you should ask ChatGPT that," and I was like, we're on enough."
I had a tech bro yap at me recently.
Don't they always?
Yeah, and maybe this is another controversial take. Not really.
Drop a second.
Tech bros, stop yapping at me about comedy.
That is not controversial. That is just what should happen.
He goes, "Have you used
Tell me
AI?"
a joke.
No. He goes, "Have you used AI to write a joke yet?"
I don't even know how you would do that. AI doesn't understand humor.
Well, also, I said, well, no, but I heard about someone at an open mic who was asking AI to write a joke in John Mulaney's voice about going to the dentist. And then he goes, well, that's not really a great use for it, huh? It was just like, what? I don't want to engage with you about this.
I don't want to engage with anyone about that.
You go write a joke with AI and perform it.
I have a hard enough time writing my own jokes. I don't need to try and interpret an AI joke writing.
Yeah.
Question 4. I know. We're moving through.
Yeah.
We only have 2 more to go. Stay strapped.
I'm strapped.
Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one particular moment that really sticks with you?
There was one job I got where it was like the most money I was making in Los Angeles.
So $7.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the title was something, it was a fake like startup title where it was like head of programming for a YouTube channel. And I was I don't know what any of this means. And they're giving me so much money and I'm going to step it up. I fear I can't curse on your podcast. I know I can
curse all you want.
But I was like, I'm going to fuck it up. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And like for the 6 months I worked there, because I got laid off, because they had 2 CEO changes in the 6 months I was there. Surprise.
I never liked that company.
Yeah, they were bad. But the whole time I was like, this is going to be so crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. And then once I got spat out on the other side where I was like, oh, I got laid off. No one really ever checked in on me on what I was doing. And I was like running myself, like into the ground, just being like, oh, I'm doing this wrong. Oh, so bad. And then to just get laid off, and I was like, no one ever noticed what I was doing at all. So I don't need to worry, because I thought, to me, I was like, that's big money. And now I'm like, that was chump change for them. Who cares?
Not only that, but you probably knew more than most of the people that worked there.
Potentially. It was a very confusing time.
I never cared for anyone who worked there.
Not
a single person.
Yeah.
Except you.
Yeah.
But everyone else.
But every time I've started a day job, it's felt like, oh, do I actually know what I'm doing?
But just to be clear, when I said the $7 thing, I thought you were talking about being paid for comedy, and I was like, $7.
No, first comedy gig was $5.
Can I tell you, in LA, still a steal.
Yeah, well, it's an Orange County.
Question 5, final question. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite tea? And if you do not have a favorite tea, what is your favorite comfort?
Okay, my favorite tea is actually, and I beg my friend to bring it back from the UK when he goes. It is some Iranian tea, like a black tea. And I'm pretty sure if I went to like an Armenian market, like a specialty market, I could find it. So I don't actually know what it's called.
Okay. It's going to make it tough to find.
Yeah, but it is, I'll send you a photo.
Oh.
If you want, if it's going to go on the pod somewhere.
Well, I would like to.
Yeah, if you would like it, yeah. And whenever he goes back to the UK, I say, please bring me back a box of tea. And I like slowly make my way through that tea. It's it's this just delicious black tea. Right. And I like a black tea in the morning. Sometimes I'll drink a black tea on my way to the gym.
Really?
Yeah. Get me hyped up.
I am water until after the gym.
Wow. Yeah. But are you a morning gym person?
Yes. Wake up at 7:30 to go to the gym. Yeah.
Raw? You gym raw.
Oh, I gym raw. I was like, do I eat something? Yeah. I do a fasted workout. Yeah.
I don't count tea. I mean, I do a fasted workout.
Tea doesn't count. But like, I don't do caffeine. I don't do pre-workout. I don't do any of that.
Wow. I think I more so do it for the ritual.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That takes us back to our first question.
Sometimes I need it.
That was the whole pod. How do you feel?
Great.
Good?
It's always lovely talking to you.
I had so much fun. I expected this to happen, so I'm not super surprised by it, but like I had a wonderful time. You are welcome back truly anytime.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so excited to get to watch your special.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That was Rachele Friedland. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok at Rachele Friedland. This episode was produced by Jude Crowner. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepconvos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.
I am sitting in those shoes right now.
Yeah. But like, why not?
I don't. I should have prepared a better answer for that.
No, and sorry to hit you with the steepness so quickly.
Okay, guys, we'll wrap it up. We've got a podcast here.